Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. I'm your host, Stephen Topham the Third, at your service. Now we're going to be talking about this topic another seriously. This is not a joke. It's not a rumor. It's not anything like that. Right? The quote that I'm about to give you is an actual title. I can't live in a world where you don't love me, which is quotably done by Tom Welling from Smallville, which is true. But it does mean something because in the day when you're trying to fight for something you need rather than want, then you have to go through every length you can, right? In the end of the day, it's hard, yes. It's diplomatic, yes. But it's also showing you. A lot of people say, even Tom Welling quoted this on Smallville so bloody much, excuse my French, um, said, you can look right into my soul, which is true. Some people can, some people can't. And I get where where people need, but you have to look within yourself as well as yourself as well as me, right? So it has to work well both ways. Sometimes people think, why is he doing this? Why is he doing this? Why he's doing that? It's realistic. You can't change what's unfolding, right? Get the drill, right? We all know that the swan song is happening, but not the island swan song, right? I've prevented that in a big, enormous way, right? But in the day when you see things unfold naturally, it tells you that we've got safeguards everywhere, right? You can't. A lot of people think they can get away with it, trying to break them all, but all I will do is rebuild them all the time. Why? Because I'll always have connections. I'll always have my friends. But not all my family can contribute because there's only four of us. Right? We get the point. The unlikely four, which is true. You got me, Cena, Mother, and Duck. That's four of us. That's all you got left. Right? For this generation, the third gen, plus our extensions like Nia and Darcy and all the rest of them, they all coordinated. They're real life people, don't get me wrong. But when it comes down to the unlikely four, which it is, it's me, Cena, Duck, and my mother, that's it. Everything has fallen into place slowly. But I cannot live in a world where you don't love me. Why? Because all you do is doing the complete opposite to what you need. And I look at myself and I know Tom Welling was telling the truth. Like I said, I have connections everywhere. Right? End of the day, it's all there black and white for you. Right? Sometimes a lot of us don't have a social life we can actually do everything, realistically and everything else. I don't have that luxury. Right? A lot of relationships are complicated more than anything, but it's all there black and white. Right? People know things. StreamYard, YouTube, Google, they all know it. Right? Every time I stream or what I do, right? They all go back to family, friends, connections, etc. But in the day, when it's unfolding the truth, I can't live in a world where you don't love me. This doesn't apply to Duck or my mother because it's not them that they are part of the unlikely four, yes. But in the day, it's me and Zeno in the end, right? I get that. But I don't want to keep bugging her like hell, right? I have to do it slowly, right? I know what needs to be done to correct everything else in play. My private connections are helping me. My friends are helping me, right? We all doing it. Private connections and all on top. So it's not just the connections, it's also private connections, right? In my lifestyle, I am private. No one can't look me up on Facebook besides my public profile, which is available on Facebook for you to look at. But I'm not going to be doing this day after day and after day. I need for people to understand where I'm coming from without giving out too much of the BS. Right? At this point, the album staff are there to safeguard me and Cena in the end. Right? In the day, you can't meddle what's been set in stone. Right? I get that. But when my life is on the line as well as her, that's different. Then we have to think about ourselves as a whole. Slowly, slowly catch a monkey, right? Relationships are complicated, right? I get that. And a lot of things unfold naturally as it does. People understand what's unfolding and they need to understand everything else, right? You know, a lot of people say, right, a lot of people know what needs to be done. I can't ignore it because I know that Margaret could be watching on the other end, my mum's cousin, obviously, who may be gone or buried or whatever, or she may be still alive, I don't know. But things come in small time, little packages, if you will. They don't often come in one big gun and here you go. No, it takes time, trust, honesty, and respect. But I'm not going to give out all my private life. What you see behind you is only a sample of my life. Right? It's all connected, yes. Plus, I've got all the employees of the volunteers of the North Norfolk Railway of today. So, in the day, you know, you have to be realistic. And a lot of people assume that they've got what they need. They've got what they need, but they just have to wait a bit longer. It's going to take me a little while because I have to wait for the right timestamp. Which I mean, well, I mean timestamp. It means the right time. It's harder for me as an individual because I have disabilities, physical disabilities, my add. It's not easy, don't get me wrong. You know the story of Thomas and the Magic Railroad too well for a lot of you. People are seen unfold again for a third time. I don't need a repeat of the second time. Because when I mean the second time, bad things happened. Right? The third time, it's not going to happen because I'm making sure of it. You know, when things unfold naturally, it all comes together slowly, right? A lot of people said, why title your podcast, I Can't Live in a World Where You Don't Love Me? It'd be sad and it'd be wrong. Why, I know that. I'm one step ahead. So I know exactly what more floating in your minds right now to think it this through and realise the staff of the Albion know about this, plus Cena, obviously. Cena was keeping her mouth shut. She's safeguarding herself, plus myself. Right? I'm already blocked on Facebook directly. Right? When I'm in block, you can't search me up, you can't add me as a friend unless you go through connections, colleagues, friends, etc., etc. You can't just add me, lady, here you go, bang. You know, it's not that easy. I have to get to know you first before I can add you. You know, I have known people all my life, but there's a lot of people I can't keep in my friends list anymore because I'm on a time limit, which is true. You know, when my family die for me, then things get tighter. They get smaller and things need to progress forward somehow. But it cannot be, the way it's unfolded at this moment, it's unfolded the correct way. The swan song. There's a difference between the two of them, right? Bad egg, good egg. right? There's a lot of things involved in this, right? When you look in the mirror that really actually understands things, I said I do understand what the two differences are, right? When my private connections around the globe know what needs to happen to recorrect everything, right? I've got 8 billion people against me, but they're not hurting me. They're just saying, oh, you need to do the necessary to go forward, right? People know this. They don't have to blab it off in public. We try to keep our mouth shut and just play the role out to a very high degree. Right, I know a lot of you know the ending of Thomas and the Magic Railroad, how it all progresses forward. Right, I get it. There are some of us that have to do the necessary action to do the first thing, to get the first thing going, right? There are people that want me dead, right? As examples, sorry for being blunt. There are people out there that want me dead. Right, I'm not going to mention no names because it's an unknown suspect. Right, at this moment, he wants me dead. And I said, don't even bother because I changed the timeline. Right, I recorrected the timeline to a very high degree. But when you really understand what's unfolded so far, there are people in this world that are either jealous, angry, pissed off, excuse my language, and it goes down the line for them, right? And it goes forward for them, and they they want. They're not going to get what they want because it's all about needs, people's needs, and respect, and honesty, and trust. Makes four of course. But you have to have all of that in one bucket. But a lot of people had to wait for it to come. Patience is a virtue on both sides of a coin. Right? Reverse psychology helps a little bit, right? I get it. And when people help me, I help them. Vice versa, right? In the day, things have unfolded in the correct way to a very high degree, right? I can't live in a world where you don't love me. It's one quote that I will put it in perspective. I don't need to repeat it again because it's already a title, right? People know what needs to be done. People can sip it and they know what to do. The railway keys are the key here. I get a lot of people that respect me for a lot of reasons. If StreamYard is doing it, so is YouTube, so is Google. They're telling you. But half the time they cannot because it's private information. Right? I get that. But there are a lot of people in this world that want. Right? I get that. Some people say we need this, need. Right? I'm thinking about the needs, not the wants. Right? The government can go rattling on about this and say, shit. You know what I mean? They're dealing with somebody that's got a network of really powerful connections, powerful friends, powerful family. You've got a whole lot in one bucket and they all connected. Right? It's like having a grid, but you're safeguarding everybody else. Right? It's not a game, it's not a race. Right? A lot of people have certain actions, right? Which is true. And it's a lot of things that have to go forward. You can't reverse it because if you keep reversing it, you backfire yourself. Right? When a lot of people want to go forward, there's a lot about me that can't go forward directly because of my physical disabilities. People are forgetting about that. Right? I get there are things in life we need. Right? I get that. People need me as well as my wife and the kids. Right? The kids are safeguarded as well as I am. So is my wife. But we know who we are, right? We know who it is. We know who it is. We're not going to go down that route again. But I want you to understand it's a complex relationship, closed relationship, right? People in the Albion know who I'm going out with, but they can't say nothing. They just have to let it play out a bit more, right? In the day, when you look at me, you're looking at the opposite. Ding ding, right? Which is true. People know exactly what I'm talking about. But a lot of the time, people need things. But I have to provide it, but I can't do it on my own. Need. It's going down that chain, right? People need it, but they've got to realise why. Right, let me give you a scenario, right? Everybody is so afraid at the moment. They can't move forward unless I move forward, right? There's a lot of things in play that a lot of people can't realistically understand or can't realise what is unfolded or what is going here. You know, okay, it's a little bit awkward at the moment. For me and for Zena and the rest of the Albion staff are safeguarding us, and we don't have to say a word. All we have to do is do our jobs right now. Right? We're all doing our jobs. We're doing the hard work. We're giving you everything you need. By the time, there's going to be a time when we want to settle down. Right? There's going to be a time when we all need to settle down. We can't keep doing the job all our lives. It's okay. It's a very difficult process. But I said to you guys at the end, I know things that have to be secretly guided for me. I can't always do it on my own. People have to help me throughout the whole lot. But in the day, you got what you need. The unlike before, me, Zena, Duck, and my mother. So that's all connected right now. But when the time is coming, bing, bada, boom, it's going to go back to family, right? Which it is. But then things you have to add up. You got to go back to go forward. So always that action right with me. And I know who's family. I know who's my friends. I know who my connections are. But a lot of my family, right, at the moment, Duck and my mother, cannot be involved in my own timeline at this moment because it's still early stages of season 4 to 5. We're in between that little area, which is a little bit of a blank at the moment, right? We know what needs to unfold slowly. We know what needs to be done. But it's going to take a little while. When people are safeguarding me, as well as my support engines that I've got already, it all adds up slowly. Even the day when you really know what you're doing, which we are, I don't argue, I don't debate, I don't argue. When you have honesty, trust, and respect in play, that's me. Right? I don't like to lie to a woman or dishonest a woman. I have to be honest with the woman. I have to respect the woman. I have to let her have her boundaries, as they say, and that's it. It's the same with me and Zena. Duck and my mother don't have to go through all this BS. Well, not bullshit, but I mean, go through the same procedure again and again and again. Because they're doing what they need to do, right? My mother can work with Duck in Sodor Museum as example, and then go work whenever they can. Then paperwork comes in November as example. November paperwork, ding. Then it becomes back to me because I'm their boss. Right? It got that paperwork. Doesn't matter if it's Muckle Sodor Museum. In the end, it's just the way it plays out because it comes back to me because I'll get the results. It's like a paperwork that I don't see. It's classified, but I know it's been done. Right? So then it happens with the same. It has the same procedure with the Albion. Right? Same procedure. Right? I don't need to look at that paperwork because it's already been privatised for the family. Donk. So it keeps in the family. It stays in the family. But when you got people that don't want certain event to happen, It's going to happen regardless. Right? Don't worry about what it's going to happen regardless. It's just the way it unfolds at the moment, we're slowing it down a lot more than what it is. Right? Because there's a lot more to think about. Right? When I said I can't live in a world where you don't love me. It's the actual quote from Tom Welling himself. Right? One of my own private connections, which I don't often talk about because of Christopher Reeve, the late Christopher Reeve. And because it's so October month, it's a difficult month for me to connect back up. Right? October's not easy. Right? When people think this is all a joke, I said, yeah, I got christened on the 9th of October. I have my Auntie Jenny's for my wedding day on the 8th. Then I have my birthday on the 10th. Then it adds up. Then it goes to the 21st of October with my great uncle's birthday. Ding dalla boom. But there's one problem. October the 19th is when Robert Cossey died on the railway line. So it all adds up, and then he buried his brother on his birthday. So it all adds up. So when you think about all this old past tense issues and you saying it's a load of BS as example, which it isn't, it all goes back to the future. Why? Because I'm filling in the gaps for you. Right? When I say family is important, it is very important indeed. Right? StreamYard won't lie, nor with Google, nor YouTube. They never lie. They never be dishonest with me. They have to be honest to go forward. Right? Trust is another one. And respect is another one. But in the day, you got the unlikely four, so don't worry about that. You got four of us. Now we got to play it all out correctly. In the day, when people know what I'm doing, they said, look, why do you dress like that? Or why do you wear that? And I said, look, do you ever realize I'm a Hatt member of the family? Sometimes a lot of people don't realize that until you realize I'm coming back in the record, straight record, and saying, this is what I've got to do, fix the problem, get this swan song in play, not the Iron Swan song, because that's a different storyline and it will destroy the world and let fall apart and then everything doesn't add up no more. But then another 30 years get lost. So then everything unfolds correctly for you. So I can't live in a world where you don't love me. There's a lot of respect to be earned back, yes. Honesty is another one, and trust. When it all adds up, it goes into one bucket. But in the day, if my family were alive today, they would have helped me along my route without no hesitations. But I already know the story inside and out because it's all programmed in my head. You can't give me, when people were thinking, what? Yeah, you could drop jaw now, but it's actually the truth. It's logic and respect. But at the same time, I can't live in a world where you don't love me. Right? It's fact, it's truth, and it's logic, and it's been transcripted for that purpose. And a lot of things we say on television or on in front of our faces in reality, it does happen every time. And people say, I'm a lot of people don't realise how lucky they are right now. But I am now trying to do what needs to be done. I know it's not easy for me because I've got support engines to go everywhere at the moment. And it's like saying, yeah, well, the answers were there, the clues were there in the Albion for starters. And the anagrams were there as well to be added. And it points me in the right direction all the time. You know, like I said, when we have a close relationship, We don't want it in the public eye all the time. It doesn't matter which way we look at it. I know that I respect people in the highest regard for safeguarding me and Cena alone. But there's a lot of people that don't know fully what's unfolding here. It is a very, very delicate process. A very If this puzzle piece gets smashed again, we're going through all that horrible shit that we've been through before. In every angle, in every direction. So my mother and I decided that we have to go and fix this problem before it goes wrong. Oh, as I stated previously, I'm not Diesel 10. Because if I was Diesel 10, that's what happened. My mother got pulled down by the hair, down the driveway, and then my grandfather got a fat lip, bang, by my own flesh and blood father, may I add. And he can't even remember that no more. I said he hides it, yes, but he was stupid. And in the day, when you think about my past and my present and my future, if it wasn't for me being stuck in the middle, my mother could have got it worse off. Even my grandfather helped me out. So it sends out the red flag for everybody else around, sharing them chroma everywhere, saying wink, 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 wink. And you know what I mean? He passed the buck, got the memo, and got it straight out. And in the day, my grandfather on my father's side of the family, so to put out the first, wasn't happy. Right? I'm his only grandson that he saw before he died. While my other grandfather on my mother's side brought me up and safeguarded me. And with all that done, I sent letters to Lily, as I stated in the podcast, one of my podcasts before. I sent letters to Lily, everything. When I actually saw her face to face, that's no bullshit. But Margaret was there, and so was her daughter, which it makes my distant cousin in play. But we can't argue with that. You know, it's all facts, it's all logic, and it's all truth. And every day, my distant cousin and I are basically husband and wife, but not yet. But it's got to happen to keep the peace for round the globe. There's 8 billion people against me right now, saying what? You know what I mean? They're drop drawing for everything. I said, I can't live in the world where you don't love me. It's basically saying to you, in logical terms, you can't fight with the real life event. You can't argue with the debate of it. But when you look back and really think about what, sugar, whoa, you know, everything was unfolding all in truth, but then everybody's starting to poke in and say, what, sugar, sugar, and they couldn't put the pieces together. I said, by discovering it yourself, as example, it does take a little while to understand things like this and understand why. Right? A lot of things take a little while, take a little time, but at the same time I don't have. You know, when it's October, when it comes to October this year, I'm going to be on the verge of saying, look, click, click, click. You know, I'm there, I'm here, I'm alive, I'm well, yes. Plus lady hat on top. But in the day, we're both safeguarded. Our private lives are safeguarded. But I'm not going to be BSing the point anymore. Because it's all true in black and white. You know, when people are ahead of schedule, they screw up sometimes. Sometimes they get it right on the nail. Because it's all playing out the way it should. But in the day, it shows that I'm there, and it shows that I'm married, got the kids in check, and that's that. but you have to let it play out properly to do it properly. I know it's hard for a lot of people to realise how does he know that information. Well, while the Westerner doesn't lie, nor does the Americans, don't, or even Australia. They both don't lie. The UK is starting to get the memo now. Why this puzzle pieces all been separated in the first place? Because I was going to reveal it to you in time, which is what it's been doing for you. So in the day when it comes down to what you need and what you want and everything else, I said forget what you want. It's the needs, right? The needs are very important, right? And when people think, what do we do with these needs? And what do we do with these wants? I said, break it in half, will you? And look at it. It will tell you what your actually needs are, not actual wants. But when it goes down the line, it's going back to me and Cena, and that's it. Then you've got Duck and my mother on top of that, which makes the unlikely four. So when it all goes down the chain, ching, every time we rise, the hats have to unite, boink, make a couple, then it becomes a four. That's why my grandfather, on my mother's side of the family, why do you think they live at 4 Sandy Lane? 4 is a number, but it's also the key. So when it goes to the fourth letter, you normally have a D in play, right? Which, it, which is what it is, right? But it isn't. It's actually a number to tell you there is a pattern in play. You see, when we talk about Harry Potter as another example, right, that's a different overall story, but it's the same scenario, same storyline, same everything, right? I know I could do so much in my life, and I know I can do this. I can do this. I can pull it off, make and give you what you need. But it's going to be time now. Time is what we have got of much of as a certain aspect, but it's taking a little time, right? Regardless that I'm more mature than my father, excuse my French to be blunt, I'm not like my father in any direction, right? My mother has noticed that. The Albion has noticed that. I may have been stricken stern, but I'm not the other half, right? This is what makes the good guys from the bad guys, right? I get that. It's hard to put all of these pieces together in one bucket, but it's going to take a little time every time. I can't live in a world where you don't love me, where you don't love me. And it makes sense. It's a quote that makes sense. Right? End of the day, you're going to get the result you want in the end. Right? But it's just taking a little bit longer than normal. Right? Because there's something I'm doing in my over here, which you don't see, which is privatized. You're only getting me on camera because you need the answer, but you have to wait for that answer to come through. You know that's it's all to do with me, Zena, my stepfather, Duck, and my mother. That's true. That's fact. That's logic. You can't argue with that, right? It's unfolding in the correct way, but you just got to slow it down a bit. You know, when you see me in this office, you know there's the little bit things going on and on and on, and it unfolds everything correctly. But there's a lot of things that you have to put in the correct way. This is going to take a little bit of the time. When you realize what's unfolding and realize what I got to do, what I got to unfold here to recorrect this, recorrect that, it's like saying need. But to get the needs, you have to understand the wants will have to wait. It's not a game you can rush. It's a real life event, which is what makes the whole problem go not really 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 going forward a bit, which is true. But there's a thing before the thing. It's just like going forward, but you have to wait for me It's not my choice, but I have to go forward with it to say, look, I'm on a timer. Here you go. Here's your answer, a little bit piece by piece. When everybody knows this, my private connections, my friends, my colleagues, and all of that, they all helped me for a reason. But because I was it's like slowing down, right? If I rush it, I destroy myself, right? Which I don't need. Then everything doesn't fall out. It doesn't fall into place correctly, right? A lot of people, like Duck and my mother, can't absorb all of this information in one bucket, right? So they are on their own a bit, right? But I've got Cena and myself. That's it, right? There's only four of us, right? We can't just go through. I'm not harassing anyone. I'm just being polite, respectful young man right now. I am taken, yes, that's for sure. But we just don't want it in the public eye at this moment. We're not ready, right? It will come eventually. I don't want newspapers or tabloids or EDP or any other sort like my father did. Why? Because that was his mistakes, his slip ups. Right? Because he put the newspapers on everything and everything like hunky dory. Boof. Right? On the 1st of April 2016, he got married. Charles Topham Hatt II. Bang. Then what happened? I find out on the next day, my auntie Jenny passed away. Then it'd be Auntie Sally on top of that. Then I lost Auntie Sarah on the Manson side of the family. So work it out, all the original Hat family, I would say, near enough. But there you go, it's there in black and white. I've got every date, every calculation in my head, but it all leads back to one person to go back to. Why? Because I was uniquely born and designed for one individual. Why? It's standard protocol. Right? My grandfather made sure I go to the right person. Right? I always do. I've always been really useful, helpful, kind, caring, respectful, trustworthy, honesty, all of it. When it all goes down in black and white, it does show. It does show. I'm not like the last one. I'm telling you now. My father done it 3 times trying to get it right, but because in my situation, I had to wait patiently for 37 years, safeguarding people, putting people where they need to be. My friends, my connections, my colleagues, etc. They're all in Norwich, Cuomo, everywhere around the UK, even the globe. And people can't put the pieces together to work it all out. I said, people know people. Right? We get that. But when I understand that, I got my when I got Margaret and no longer Lily, because Lily's passed away, bless her soul. Right? That hurt my grandfather very deeply because we lose family. We lost family. Where's my family now? There's only four of us left. There's always be a four. Why? Lily, George, Flo, and Charlie. And what's happened? It's gone in reverse. Why? Because I have a private connection that goes down the chain with us. Safeguard at the top and everything else is down below. What meant to be connected. Right? In the day, my real father was a complete damn BS job. Not at the first, but you should not hit my grandfather and give him the fat lip for starters. Right? I understand that he was bloody rude, selfish, and unkind. But I'm a complete opposite to him. I'm well respected, trustworthy, kind, and honest. Right to the down the line for that one. I will never be dishonest with a woman, and I never will be. But like I said, in the day, it's all there, all in facts and in truth. It's just it needs to play out a little bit more. Like I stated for the record, and I'm stating it again, m- some of us do not have the luxury right now to do what needs to be done properly. Right? We're not a couple, we're not a normal couple. That, right, in the day, Duck and my mother got their bed and they lied in it. Excuse my French to put it that way. But that's the fact. Right? With me, it's a little bit difficult. Okay, it's a straight road all the way through the timeline. The only problem is, people know what's going to happen and they'll fold correctly, yes, but give it a little bit more time because it's not normally my choice to to go public. I could go public because I'm a fat man, right? Obviously, but at the end of the day, people know people to gain what they need, right? Respect is one thing. We all, when it comes down to family and friends and connections, they have to be realistically about what they see and what they get, right? End of the day, we always have that bond, we have that trust, we have that honesty, we have that respect. But when it goes down the line, it all comes into light. I don't need the Norfolk Railway to BS on me and say you're out of a building because we set you up good and proper, you're not coming back in and all of that. That's gonna stop as well. Because that's bullshit, excuse my language. But that's the point. When it comes down to the unlikely four, that's it. The Norfolk Railway is a game over. Right? But it's not the end game. That's the thing. This is why season 5 and the modern years need to kick in a little bit. Right? In the day, when you don't see it, I already know the truth ahead of you. It's like saying Wild Northwest is on the same page as me. Right? So it's one extra individual who you know quite well, but we have to safeguard. I have to safeguard her. So does the staff. Right? In the day, I'm not gonna. We know it's the Albion, but that's it. Respect what we got right now. At this moment, there's a bit of a time tickle on me, and then one of these days, on my birthday, on October the 10th, I will never be the same at the moment because it hurts me gradually because it's 3 days later, my grandfather died in 2004, which kicks it all in place. All it does is 20 years, boom. I didn't rush the whole thing. It slowed down enormously. People thought I was rushing it, and I'm not. Like I said, I can't live in the world where you don't love me. That's what I'm trying to put across. End of the day, you got what you need. Now we just got to play it out a little bit as a normal timeline before we can jump in. Right? In the day, it's not my full decision to really go public with my lady hat. My lady hat has to be ready when she is ready. I'm not going to be. I know who she is. I know what she is. So do I. So does she with me. Vice versa. We're all on the same page. We're not going to argue. We're not going to debate. It's all polite, respectful, kind, and even that we always have our safeguards up. When we are working, we work. Right? When the safeguards are down, we don't communicate with each other because of safeguards need to be still in place. Right? In the day, a lot of my private connections do hard work. I appreciate that. So is my connections and colleagues, etc. But there are a lot of things that in the day when if you can't live in the world where you don't love me, you're gonna have the bloody problem that everybody's crying wolf on. Right? We need to be in the swan song to keep continuing everything in forward. We can't go back and right, here we go. You know what I mean? There's a lot of things I can do, and there's a lot of things I can't do. Right? I don't have the luxury. I know it's essential for most of you that are behind the bar or going out drinking, having food in the restaurant. We don't have that luxury, right? We understand it's cheaper to go the other way. Sometimes it's even better than what it is, but when you think about it, it's the way we run, operate, and function properly. You know, when the things come to you, you have to be realistic on everything else. You know, I'm not going to be dishing out my private life just to I am recollecting it, but I don't want to keep blabbing it off on the internet. As example, right? People know who I'm going out with. That's it. You know, if you, in the day, just let it play out for a bit. Eventually, it will click, but it's taking a little bit longer than normal. Of course, I've been patient. Of course, I didn't do the same mistake as as my father. In the day, you got what we need, right? But the thing is, we just need to unfold it correctly. So from Island Swan Song to Swan Song, a lot of people are getting mixed up with the two. I said, what's wrong in the rest of the timeline? From season 5 onwards, then you get the clicker. Right there, right on a question mark. In the day, people pay attention to these things. I can't live in the world where you don't love me. Because I know what will happen. You know, when things unfold in front of you, me, Cena, my mother, and Duck can't always show our private lives out in public. When I was younger, it was difficult. Of course, I knew everything that was blabbering out of my mouth was true, yes, but then as I got older, I was in control with myself. It was unfolding in the correct way and everything else. You know, in the day where people think they got their needs in the future, let's just say it got in the opposite direction and people didn't get what they needed. People will cry, they will be upset, they'll be depressed, and everything else. I said, look, let it unfold naturally, which it will be. Right? When the things are there, it will unfold naturally. But the thing is, I know the swan song is happening, yes, but I have to be patient as well. Patience is the ultimate key. I know a lot of people out there that are 8 billion people that may not know what's unfolding properly. Right? I get that. But like I said in the previous podcasts, I told you who I'm going out with. My mother and Duck are my safeguards at the moment because they only can do so much for me. They're not getting any younger, they're getting older. And so am I. Every day of my life, I was blessed, I was given, but like I said, I've been watched from the sky and below. So if you think I'm a joker, no, no, no. Why? People are watching me from above and below. And when I say above, I mean people that were alive that can't speak for themselves today. And they always said, you're destined to do what needs to be done. Why? Because I'm a hat. I know it's very difficult for a lot of people to open up, if you will, but there's a lot of times where I have to do it on in this type of format, like on my own, in front of a camera. Right? I get that, but when there's a real life event, I want you to be updated. I want you to keep the facts going. I want you to keep my life going and making sure that everything unfolds correctly. I care about people in the Albion, plus my wife, obviously on top, being my distant cousin, but in the day it's there in black and white. We can't always be on Facebook. We have to privatize ourselves. Safeguards up, right? When I'm in the Albion, safeguards are up, right? Because we don't want to be touched, right? Because we were uniquely designed to get ourselves together in general. There's only likely four working together right now, right? But my mother and Duck can't intervene because it's my private life. That's in check. I'm monitoring every movement, every time. Even I'm trying to help you with the episodes. I'm trying to unlock everything for you. But it's taking a little time. There are a lot of things that are unfolding today that it unfolds everything. I'm recorrecting a little bit of timeline here and there, but there you go. But the thing is, I can't do it on my own anymore because of my physical well-being. Right, so I get my support engines to help me out. So they to help me out as well to make the story work out for you. But not all my support engines have the connections they need. So they go through that to me, and then it goes to the other lot. Which is true. I'm not gonna BS where you can't live in a world where you don't love me. Because every day it's the truth, it's logic, and it's fact. You know, when people see things on the TV these days or movies, whatever, there's a lot of facts that relate back to me in a lot of ways and one. When people tell me that it needs to happen, of course, StreamYard, YouTube, and Google knows the truth. I don't need to lie, nor do they. We're all on the same page, those, those companies anyway. Mattel belongs to us in every angle, so that's my family down the line in every angle. It's there, black and white. But the answer always lies back to my great auntie Lily, then Margaret, then Zena. Boof. You know, my wife, obviously. Not yet, obviously. It's not going to happen that quick. But the trust, honesty, and respect has to come with that too. That's why it's taking me a little bit longer because I have to wait patiently. Right? A lot of people think I'm just sitting there in that bar on my own. No, I'm working. Of course, I sing, yes, but my voice is not what it used to be. Right? I get that. There's a lot of things unraveling a little bit here and there. There's a little bit of twist here and there. And when you realise I've got a southern voice that does all the necessary voices, right? Like Alpha 5, for example, or Thomas the Tank, or the Fat Man, it's all connected with the same voice vocal coordination, right? When it all comes together, boof. Yeah, 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 yay! You can hear that alpha voice like anything. So when you hear that and it's all coming out in black and white, you can't argue that. That's magic. No, no mixing software or nothing. Just gotta play it right through with my wife, my kids, and everything. But that will come a little bit later, but not now. We're just trying to get people's understanding of it realistically, factively, understandably, unfoldably. I'm not going to repeat my record again. I can't live in the world where you don't love me. It won't be the same. Right? When I said you could look right into my soul and look at me, some people can dig in and they get the answers they want. They don't need to argue about the lies or the deceits. They get the facts and the logic and the truth from me. When I say these things, this is all realistic. This is no children's game, right? It's reality because things unfolded in my life as experiences where it unfolds everything for you. A lot of people make silly mistakes, yes, but not me, the unlikely four, as we call ourselves, to just narrow it down. We know everything, but you just gotta give it time. You look, if you know what I'm doing this in the memory of my grandfathers and my great uncle and everybody else, including my great auntie Lily. Bang! That just gives you the heads down the line. What they had to do to safeguard everybody for the second generation. The third generation is me and my wife and my duck and his wife. That's it, my mother, Dr. Hat. If Dr. Hat was unable to speak online like a normal person would do, she would have done. She will fill in some of the gaps that you're missing out. A lot of the time, it's all about my growing up, doing the childhood bit of it. Of course, I was safeguarded. I had operations left, right, and centre. Everything came together, blah, blah, blah. Then, as I come as an adult, bang, balla, boom, in 2021, I revealed myself at the age of 37 to 38. Now it's all connected, ding, ding, ding. Everybody's saying, right, that's going to slowly do its thing. You know, we're not rushing this. We're slowing it down a lot because we have to. We know what's ahead of me, and I know what's ahead of me in general. I said, I can't live in the world where you don't love me. It's a, it's a fact, but it's a truth. There's a lot of logic in it, and that's where it stands. Right? I give, I give, I give, I give, but I'm not alone either. When my family is in great danger, then everything has to set in motion to correct the problem. Right? In the day, the unlikely four kicks it all in check. That's me, Duck, my mother, and my lady. That's it. But in the day, people that know me know who my lady Hat is, but we're safeguarding her as well as I am. We always work together. We are joined at the hip from day one. But you see, things unfold for a good damn reason. People are making me not forget who my family is, who my distant cousin is, and add four slash wife on top of that, and then Margaret and my mother. So don't tell us what to bloody do because we know what to do. You know, we got a job to do. We got responsibilities to make sure this world doesn't fall apart and make sure the world will be safe for the future. All I have to do is play the right damn moves for you. I don't need to be asked questions because the answers are there in black and white. I know a lot of people got patience and virtue and everything else, but with me and my lady Hat and my mother and Duck, only two of us had to be blocked from Facebook, not to be searchable. Why? Safeguarding each other for obvious reasons. Why? My grandfather made sure that I'm not alone. Family all the time comes back. Family protects family. Right? When it comes down to my friends and my connections, safeguards all the way through. Keep texting. Make sure. Keep in contact with my connections. Keep in contact with my friends. Keep processing it through. Don't don't hide it, but go to the right people. You know, when it goes to the right people, bang. You know what I mean? It's there in black and white. In the day, you got what you need. We just need to connect everything back up. You know the clue, you know the answer, and you know the situation, what's going to happen next. All we have to do is connect it up. Like one of my private connections said, you're there to fix the timeline. Thank you very much in every angle.